We're going to go ahead and run through exercise 511, drawing arcs, where we're going to start with the template file and learn how to use some of the different arc functions in Rhino. So ultimately, this here is what we're going to draw. So I've already downloaded the file here, and you can see it comes with a couple of lines. We've got a couple of circles and a couple of different layers here. Now, if we look on the directions, we're going to start with this arc down here, and it says we're going to use arc, center, start, angle. So if we go up here to curve, down to arc, center, start, angle. Now in order to get this centered, I have to have OSnap center on right here. And you can see if I get close to the edge, it wants to snap to the center. So do that, click here, click there, and you can see we just added that arc down here. Now you can get to these commands over here as well, but for just starting, it is nice to go up to this curve menu, arc, and then you can see what your different options are. Now for this one up here, it says we want to use arc, start, end, direction, which is going to be the second one here. And we're going to click on the start of the arc, make sure we're reading the command line, go down to where it says end, and then we simply drag out in the direction that we want the arc to go, and it fills that in for us. So those are probably the two most common forms of the arc tool that we're going to use. Now next we're going to go over here, and this time we're going to use the same command. So curve, arc, start, end, direction. And right here is where we're going to start. But now we have to figure out where we're going to end. So if we look at, sorry about that, if we look at our plan here, it tells us we have a radius of 2. What that means is that the center line right here is 2 units out to the right. That also means that that would be 2 units from this point down to this point. So we can use our relative coordinates to figure out that this point is going to be over 2 on the x-axis, down 2 on the y-axis. So we'll go back to Rhino. So where do you have our start? Our command line is asking for end of arc. So we're going to do R2, -2 because we're going down. And you can see it wants to snap there. Hit enter. And then we draw the direction of the arc. So we're using relative coordinates to get to this point here. Now we're going to add some more segments here to do the rounded part here. Okay, we're going to use the arc, center, start, angle this time. So curve, arc, center, start, angle. But instead of clicking out here and putting some dimensions, we're going to go and click up here in the command line where it says extension. What that's going to do is extend this arc out in the same fashion. So we'll click extension. It says select curve near end. So that's going to be right there. Okay, end of arc. End of arc, according to our directions, is going to be 4. So 4, enter. And if we drag it down, we can see it extends this arc out 4 units. So it goes down 2 to the center and 2 to the end. If we like that, we can go ahead and hit enter, and it will accept it. And then to finish this one, we're going to use that same command again. So instead of going up and clicking, we can just hit enter. We're going to click extension in the command line. Select curve near end, end of arc. And you can see right there, it extended it. It has the same radius. Everything is good and is the same. Next, we need to add our arcs here to this part so that it matches this. And we can see we have one with a radius of 3. We have one with a radius of 6. And they're going to be from slightly different center lines out here. But we're going to use tangent, tangent, and radius command. So we can go up to curve, down to arc, over here to tangent, tangent, radius. Let's go ahead and turn off center just so it doesn't snap. Now you can see, go ahead and turn off mid for now too. that we get close to the curve and it draws that line. Tangent means that it just touches the curve in one place. So we're going to click on our first tangent curve right here. We're going to click on the second one right here. For this outside one, the radius is 6. That's already in there, so I can hit enter. And it just adds that right there. And I have to drag it in the direction that I want it to go. And click, and there we go. It just added that curve. Now we're going to use the same command for this, only our radius this time is going to be 3. So I'll hit enter to do the same command again. First tangent curve right there. Second tangent curve right there. I'm going to type 3, enter. You can see it makes it much smaller, and we have to pick the direction that we want to go, just like that. Okay. Now, since we're going to make this solid in a minute, we do have to trim out these sections, because right now we have 2 open curves and we have 2 closed curves. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to draw a box around it. We're going to type the command trim. You can also find that in the transform menu. And we're going to trim out those sections right there. Hit enter when we're done. And then we're going to join those. So now we have one full closed curve. We're going to go ahead and join these other ones as well, so that we have one full closed curve. Now the other thing that it asked us to do is make a circle out here, and it's going to be concentric to this curve right here. Okay. So what we're going to use the circle command over here, or button. I'm going to turn center line back on, and you can see with center line, or with center OSNAP, it snaps to the center of that. Okay. We're going to go ahead and give it, I don't think this one specifies. Oh, it does. We have a diameter of 2, which means up here where it says diameter, I hit 2, enter, and there's our circle. Now, last thing that it has us do is extrude this so that it becomes solid. So, in perspective, I'm going to make sure that I'm shaded just because that shows up solid items better. I'm going to highlight all these, and the command is going to be extrude. Sorry, a little glitch there. Extrude CRV. Hit enter. It tells us that we want to extrude it a thickness of 1. We're going to go 1, enter. Now the other thing, let's back up just a sec, to double check, since we haven't done a ton of these yet, extrude CRV, make sure in the command line that it says solid equals yes. If we don't do that, and we try to extrude it, we simply get surfaces that extrude, and that does not make a solid object. So we'll highlight those again, extrude CRV. Solid equals yes. If it says no, simply click on it until it says solid equals yes. Put in your height of 1, enter, and there we go. We've just drawn some different arcs using a couple of different tools, and we have made it solid. So that is exercise 511, drawing arcs.